Department of Justice has deleted a study from its website that showed that right-wing violence and white supremacy outpaced all other forms. Justice deleted this study, which was conducted recently, and is currently reviewing materials about this study and other similar studies on its website. But the study essentially said that right-wing violence is outpacing all other types of violence. White supremacy violence is outpacing all other types of violence. And it was a pretty important study to show that domestic terrorism and homegrown terrorism really is contributing to a lot of the violence in the United States of America. And now this Department of Justice, unsurprisingly, is actually trying to whitewash these studies from the public's purview. As always, spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown of this and more on my Substack, links in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. I will have much more to come soon. We have some major.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto this like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. On to the next video. I know, commercial. I knew commercial was going to come up. But I wanted to show something that was kind of irritating me. This is from this broad right here. It's the first time what's what I'm looking for. Second time I seen one of her videos. Straight up and down. Yeah, alright, let this thing go.
You guys touch children. You guys fuck showing them the door. What's up, folks? We are back again. Welcome back to the show. What you just saw there was a group of Black students at HBCU, Tennessee State University, running off some MAGA conservatives who I guess had set up a table, which is perfectly legal at the school. And this group of Black people who had very poorly written Black Lives Matter signs with them, they ran them out of campus, you know. And you know what? I honestly can't blame them. In most circumstances, I encourage people to fight back. But when you are dealing with a mob of Blacks, it's better to not be a hero. It's better to get out of there because these people are unpredictable. These people have low impulse control. These people have a quick jump to violence. And as we've seen, the precedent that we've seen in the United States of Black on white violence, it's almost better to just leave instead of trying to fight back, okay?
Now, ironically, she said that, and the theme now is obviously the racial tension that's going on in America. Now, she said that Jake is impulsive, and quick to violence, and all this other stuff. We just saw it from the first video what the man said. If you don't believe me, I'm gonna let her keep saying her thing. I'm not gonna interrupt. Well, it's 9 minutes. So I can't give all 9 minutes. But there's a theme that's going on now, and obviously the obvious theme is everybody realize the most dangerous people in America is a certain people. But some odd reason the narrative always fall on Negroes, all right? Mainly the tribe of Judah, because they're pushing a narrative out there. And the obvious narrative is what she's going to say. But the evidence is clear from their history to this present day who is the most violent person in the world. All right. But I'm going to let her say her thing. But the main question would be to people like that, because I was reading the comment boards. Oh, man, trust me, this shit is crazy. And if that's the case, why do Edomites decide to move into neighborhoods where, quote unquote, the most violent, animalistic people dwell at? makes kind of don't make no sense. But where you come and realizing they feel more safer, and they get a ghetto pass, and so they're more safer to be amongst the people that they call animals than their own people. All right, that's an actual fact. Okay, they feel more comfortable, but people like this will push these narratives, and if you read the comment board for this shit, you're like, God damn. But let me let it play.
And because if you do fight back, you will almost guaranteed to be extremely injured, or best case scenario, you'll be arrested. Not the perpetrators that harass you, but
Okay. Why did these guys decide to go there? Now, I'm gonna do a little quick. I'm not gonna look for the videos. I'm just gonna use 2 or 3 videos. After Captain Kirk went into the Enterprise, they decided, one of them decided to call these all dark skinned colleges and threaten to shoot them. Now, was it real? Was it not? Fed said it was real. So, but they had nothing to do with Captain Kirk being teleported back into the starship. That had nothing to do with that. So when they get upset, when something bad happens to them, everybody got to feel their wrath. But when Jake, which I'll be realistic, we can't stand Jake either, but it was a better thing that they kicked him out. And here it is. Oh, these animals! Look how they acting. This, that, to the third. So there's a narrative being pushed out there. Jake is not looking good, and especially this so-called white man. He's looking horrific. He's looking real bad out there. No matter how they try to slice it, they spice it up. Look at these people. Look how they acting. It's not working. All right. Anybody that have common sense will be like, those guys shouldn't have went over there.
Who just fought back, okay? So because that's kind of how it's set up in this country. By the way, I bought this in Greece at a thrift store, and in it, real gems. It gets into some of the "we was Kangs" theories, and we created everything. And there's a black boy who is screaming quite loudly about this. So enjoy. I'll just say enjoy. Let's start from the beginning here and take a look.
MAGA supporters invaded our HBCU.
Why would you go? I'm just, this shit don't make no fucking sense. Why would you go into hostile territory after the fact you guys, one of your people claimed to gonna do some harm to these people? So these are the little things that kind of, it's foolish. Do you go in a zoo with a wild animal, then you get fed? You don't do that. You don't do shit like that. You don't go into a neighborhood and flaunt all the money you have. And the crazy thing is, I was watching another person, and it was like they only did that to these Jakes, because these Jakes was acting like a bunch of animals. They were, but they had, in a way, they had the rights to, because look who's there, just asking for something. So this tension is being raised up, which is a good thing.
You call the East primitive for what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all need to do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your
God damn it.
These boots are made.
YouTube got so weak now.
Y'all didn't do anything to your
Okay, so, like I was saying, gold mine. Did you catch that? Y'all haven't done shit except for steal. You haven't done shit except for steal. We built everything. We invented all the science and shit. All the science and shit. Yeah. Okay, sure. You know what? Honestly, I encourage this. Continue thinking you was Kangs. Because if it makes you feel better, more power to you, honestly. More power to you. Let's continue on with
These people, man. But the young man was right. Oh man, this thing is funny. St. John 10:10 says, "The thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and destroy." And you have a track record of history for doing the exact thing what the young man said. America is stolen land. All right. The original sin of America is the slaughter of the Native Americans and enslavement of what they call African Americans. That is your number one wronging. Well, actually, number two, the number one thing that you did is proclaim the Most High as a white man, the Son as a white man, the angels. Blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is the number one thing that you Edomites have committed. So, yeah, you a bunch of thieves and robbers and murderers. The history, you're known for that. Y'all boast about this shit. Matter of fact, I did read it, but I didn't want to bring it out. But you know what? Spirit. 73, Psalm 73. And 5 to the points. Hey, the brother Makama made a valid point. This scripture is no more valid for you people. It says, matter of fact, I saw that for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Talking about the wicked, right? Matter of fact, let's start on one. A psalm of Asaph. Truly, the Most High is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart, meaning clean mind. Right? You don't think with your heart, you think with your mind. The Hebrew word for heart is lab. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. So he's comparing his downfall or lack of to looking at another race of people as the end all to be all. Like, wait, this is a foolish thought. Why? It says, for they are bands. Sorry, for they are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So they're not in trouble like other people. This is why they get away with anything. This is why they could go to that and nothing happened to them. But if it was the role reverse, then it would have been a whole different outcome. Why? Because this world is theirs. And we're glad to admit that. The current rulership and state of America, it was given unto Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. What's the proof of that? Job 9:24. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And it's like, it's not talking about them. They're not the wicked. Okay. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So now the question would be, who are the judges? The faces that was covered. The Most High, the Son of the Most High. All right, that was the faces that were judged, that was covered. Prior to 1492, what they called the Renaissance, there was a thing called iconoclasm. All right, and that really started before 1492, but before 1353, all this, you had images of black men as the Most High, son of the Most High, the people of the Most High. Then they had this thing called the Renaissance, the rebirth of what? Esau. The same thing that was Stephen Miller stated in his triumphant speech of how they created everything, how they got everything. It was from Athens to Rome and such and such. It's funny how they started with Athens, because Athens is Greece. Civilization didn't start with the Greeks. All right. Civilization did not start with the Greeks. And what proved, and even before I even really look into it, majority of the Greek philosophies and teachings was from the Egyptians, from the Medo-Persian Empire, from the Babylonians. So they didn't create nothing, but they sure presented themselves as something. All right. So yeah, the earth is given to your hand. So you're not in trouble like other men. You could go out there and get away. You know what? I'm gonna make this quick because let me go to the next video. And oh, then you got people like this guy over here. I know it's gonna become a commercial. Yeah, Anton Daniels. And sometimes you hear these content creators and the things that they believe. So he let it play. He let it rock. And his whole thing is the letter that the college gave. It's like it's some BS. He said if that was his daughter, he'll wring her neck for acting like that. But nothing to the fact of those people was not invited to do that stuff, and the tension is already high. That's the other factor. These people must be somewhat judges and all this other stuff. You should have been asking, why are you coming out there when the tension is high like this? You don't do things like that, right? But they wrong for, according to them, they wrong for acting up. And then what made me, I was looking at it, like, look at the, look at the comment boards over here. As a young black man, the most racist encounters I ever had in my life has been by black Americans. I am a couple shades lighter, and I have the experience insane levels of racism. And I told I have not experienced racism because I am not dark enough. The levels of ignorance is just bewildering. That's one, right? And you go on, and it says, "Oh, animals act better." The fact that this college is covering up the students' actions says volumes about the college. Humans are not born racist; they learn to be racist. So I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But then you quite understand that. What's a favorite line? Where is it? I've seen it earlier. They look like dogs barking. The taxpayer funds. No, that's not it. Well, the one thing that I was looking for, which is not there for some odd reason. No, it's gone out of my head. This is why the black race is failing miserably. Stop sending your government funding to these universities. It's a waste of money. Just listen to these ignorant people. So this is this man's comment board. So I'm like, huh? uh, we don't go for any bullshit with Jake. We care less what happens to Jake. But the hypocrisy is kind of running rampant. But they're not, who this guy is. So these people said everything that they wanted to say. Oh, did I go to anything? No, I didn't even want to go to this guy. I just wanted to be his comment board. So, shout out to this brother.
Shot Charlie Kirk. This is the man who shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Hortman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man, and this man, and this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, and this man. This is the man who set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics.
They use bullets.
So, if mountains of evidence was a face, statistically, we are seeing a common trend. All right. And remember, these are the same people, how they got the land, had walked around here, act like they didn't do nothing, haven't done nothing, but history shows their presidents, all their presidents from JFK, I was thinking about, Abraham Lincoln. All right. Reagan. Who shot Reagan? When they get upset, they can become the most violent people on the planet Earth. All right. There's a difference when somebody can do something and get away with scot-free when somebody else can't do it. Okay. And what we're seeing is a thing called hypocrisy. Job 20 and 3 or 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. And why would the Lord put that there? Because the Lord knew his creation, that he was going to allow a particular people to be proud of the things that they've been doing and getting away with it scot-free. We're seeing a level of violence never seen before. And normally, so-called African Americans will get blamed for all the violence, especially now. There's a campaign to go against just the pure image of Jake. And that was all by design. That's the talking point. And this thing that's been going on for all by design was conducted by the higher ups. But the Lord's saying that all this is for nothing, because it's just for a moment. Okay? And it says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They that have seen him shall say, where is he? As much as you can sort of say how wicked black people are, we're just going to talk about Judah. They didn't reach up to the clouds, to the heavens, and have airplanes, helicopters, and so forth. That evidence is strictly on Edom. All right, that was part of his blessing. So that right there proves right then and there that you Edomites are the so-called white people. and evidence is mounting to show the world who you are. Back to Psalm 73 and 5 again. It says, they are not troubled like other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And that's why you see when same people do the same act as other people, rob, steal, and then what end up happening if they do it? Mental illness. Give them a chance. While the other, throw the book at him. But now there's a great shifting happening. Nobody's believing you no more. Nobody's believing in what's being presented. Yeah, you have certain content creators on what's his name? I just said this guy's name. Anton Daniels, which we don't like him because of certain things, but man got some good points sometimes. He's talking about the black woman. They got the Hodge twins. They got called out for what they all about. You know, you always got Candace Owens, but she kind of shifting. So you have a lot of Negroes that's taking your side, and it's still not enough because the world sees your wickedness. The world sees what's going on. All right, it says they are corrupt. Matter of fact, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covered them up as a garment. So it's quite obvious who's the most violent people, period. It's covering them as a garment. Everybody can see you. Everybody can see your acts. It doesn't matter what the hell the FBI or anybody does to clean it up. It's like every single day, mass shooting. The same day that Kirk went to the Enterprise, I'm gonna say it like that. There was a shooting. All right, and then it didn't stop there. The threat to the HBUCs. Then a random thing that happened was in Pennsylvania. Edomite shot 3 cops. Then there was one in New Hampshire who went to shoot up in the wedding. It's like this shit keeps getting worse and worse. Because why? That's who you are. Since their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than their heart could wish. Man, you have enough. You have everything, but it's not enough. You control America. You have influence in America. Your people that is in position of power looks like you. Still not enough. Right? They are corrupt, speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. So that right there proves when that woman was saying all the shit that she's saying. And people in the comment board saying the things when it comes to oppression, they don't say, how can they be oppressed? They going to school, this, that, to the third. These are people, generations that come from the shit that you have done. But like they say, that was a thing in the past that had nothing to do with them. Right? If we could go in that route, that's what they will say. But look what you're still doing to this moment, to this very day. Matter of fact, real quick, Psalms 15:16. Yep, Psalms 50 and 20 says 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son. That's what the censor is. That's what the talking point is. 13% of American population is the most violent, which it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. The only people you're fooling is yourselves. The Lord sees it all. The Lord knows exactly who's who and what's what. That's what the scripture says. What it says, you're speaking against thy brother. Who's that? Who's Esau's brother, believe it or not? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, that's who you speaking against. It says, "These things has I done, and I kept silence. That's thy thought is that I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." Yeah, they went to that college. Those kids was out of order, right? But the people that's in order is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, that's what they was afraid of. What's so tough by going to a school where people is gonna get brainwashed to believe the things that in your system? The people that speaks against your system, that's the problem. So the Lord's about to correct your ass. All right, He's about to, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, the God of Israel, the God that created all, sees you as the enemy. You are the enemy, and He's gonna take you down. And all the lip service He's been talking about His people, He's about to flip it on you. Deuteronomy 30:7 is taking place right now. You're losing your power. You're losing your grip. All right. Galatians, all that tough talk, all that making Jake look bad is coming back to you. Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Yeah, so what did you sow? You sowed that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are animals, they this, they that. Well, now the Lord's showing the world who you are. You're being exposed. And it's not, you're not liking that at all. You're not liking that at all. All right. You're going to cleave into whatever you have, but the world sees you. The world sees who you are. You are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And your last act, your last hurrah is bringing in your new world order. And all you the lesser elites, you two-time losers that want to keep this thing going, and you want to keep America going. Well, your masses want to get rid of this. All right, they want to get rid of you. And crazy thing is, you are your biggest threat, not us. It never was. Because when it's all said and done, Esau is going to destroy Esau. All right, and that's what the scripture says. What the beast shall hate the whore. So you're hated everywhere. You even hated amongst your own kind. All right. So the Lord is not mocked. This thing is about to go down. Luke 11:18, I believe. If Satan also be divided against himself, how can his kingdom stand? So your kingdom is falling apart right before your eyes. And yeah, the nation of Israel is going to take you down. The saints shall take the kingdom. In the same act that you did it, is it be done unto thee. So with that being said, I try not to make this long, but it is what it is. Shalom to the elect and the nation of Israel. Shalom.